All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving straight into how the ancient philosopher Epictetus proved that mental toughness, well, it isn't some genetic lottery ticket. It's a highly trainable skill. Over the next few minutes, we're going to look at the ultimate architect of Stoic fortitude, a guy who built an unshakable mind from absolute zero, and exactly how we can steal his methods for ourselves today.
So let's set the stage here. Imagine having zero physical freedom. You own nothing. Actually, scratch that. You don't even own your own body. How on earth could you possibly find any sort of power or agency in that kind of total darkness? It seems literally impossible, right? But this is the exact starting line for the philosophy we're unpacking today. It completely forces us to redefine what power and freedom actually mean when the whole physical world is stripped away.
Section 1. Born into chains. I really want to start completely grounded here, because for Epictetus, philosophy wasn't some abstract debate held in a comfortable, ivy-covered lecture hall. Not at all. It was a desperate, everyday survival mechanism. His early life was entirely defined by the brutality of chains and a permanent physical disability. In fact, legend has it that his leg was deliberately twisted by his master, and get this, as his master was doing it, Epictetus calmly warned him, "You will break my leg." And when it finally snapped, he just simply replied, "I told you it would break." No way, right? He wasn't philosophizing for fun. He was literally figuring out how to survive unbearable agony without losing his humanity. And just look at the extreme whiplash of his timeline here. He starts at the absolute bottom of the social hierarchy, born as a slave around 50 AD. Then, roughly 18 years later, around 68 AD, he discovers this profound intellectual liberation through Stoic philosophy. But, the adversity didn't just magically end once he eventually gained his physical freedom. Far from it. By 89 AD, he's banished from Rome entirely by a paranoid, tyrannical emperor. Slavery, disability, exile. Yet through the whole shebang, he maintained an absolute, unwavering resolve. Moving on to Section 2, the Dichotomy of Control. Okay, so here is his ultimate realization. He realized his captors could completely control his physical body. They could literally break his leg, they could dictate exactly where he slept, but they could never, ever reach his inner world, unless he handed them the keys. This right here is the dichotomy of control. It's the daily, ruthless practice of separating the entire world into two distinct categories, based purely on what we have absolute command over. And honestly, understanding this single concept is basically the difference between living in constant anxiety and living with profound inner peace. Notice the really stark breakdown of this rebellion. On one side, we have our thoughts, our impulses, our will. That is our domain. That's entirely up to us. On the other side, our bodies, our reputations, and external events. Not our domain. We just do not control those. Now, you might not be in physical chains right now like Epictetus was, but really think about it. How often is your entire day completely derailed by a bad traffic jam, a snarky email from a coworker, or, losing your mind over a slow Wi-Fi connection? We are constantly letting things we absolutely cannot control dictate our inner peace. Which brings us to Section 3, Reframing Pain and Adversity. They could control his body, so he builds a fortress out of his mind. Let's just pause and let that ancient wisdom breathe for a second. It so perfectly captures how he reframed his intense adversity. You see, Epictetus didn't passively accept his suffering, and he certainly didn't play the victim. When the outside world became incredibly hostile, his philosophy demanded the only logical response: fortify the one place they absolutely cannot invade. By constructing that fortress, he proved a really vital point for us today. Resilience is not some genetic lottery that you either win or lose. It is a consciously built skill. It's kind of like progressively lifting weights to build muscle, right? Practicing this mindset progressively builds mental fortitude. It's a highly actionable survival mechanism forged right in the fires of your own daily challenges. Every single time you face adversity and consciously choose to focus only on your internal response, you are literally laying another solid brick in that mental fortress. Let's get into Section 4, Building Your Mental Fortress. All right, here is your practical blueprint. This is a simple 3-step procedure adapted straight from Epictetus, and it's ready to use the very next time a crisis hits at work or in your personal life. Step 1, clearly identify the crisis. Just name it. Step 2, aggressively separate out the external events, the circumstances, and other people's actions. Draw a literal line down a piece of paper if you have to, and cross the uncontrollable off your worry list entirely. Step 3, take absolute, uncompromising command of what is left: your thoughts, your impulses, and your will. Protect that remaining space fiercely. Now you might be wondering, why does this matter so much today? Well, because applying this blueprint is the absolute fastest, most effective way to drop the heavy, invisible chains of modern anxiety. We burn so much mental energy trying to manipulate things outside of our control, which, let's be honest, only guarantees profound frustration and burnout. By internalizing this lesson, you stop fighting unwinnable wars with reality. You free up immense amounts of energy to focus on the one domain you actually own, your own mind.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final choice. Will you continue to let a volatile economy, frustrating colleagues, or the fleeting opinions of random strangers keep you in invisible chains? Or will you take a page out of Epictetus' book, draw the line on what you can't control, and start building your own unbreakable mind today? The materials are right in front of you. The choice to build? Well, that's entirely yours.